What does it mean when a country under pressure allows oil tankers to pass through one of the most strategically sensitive choke points in the world? And does that signal de-escalation or a calculated move in a larger negotiation? Roughly 20% of global oil supply flows through the Strait of Hormuz, making even a small change in access a matter of global economic consequence. This video examines what the reported passage of 10 oil tankers implies for ongoing tensions. What could change if the situation shifts, and how this moment fits into a longer geopolitical trajectory that is still unfolding. At the center of the development is a statement made by U.S. President Donald Trump during a cabinet meeting at the White House on March 26, 2026. Sitting alongside Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, Trump described a situation in which Iran allowed a group of oil tankers to transit the Strait of Hormuz. He framed this as a signal that Iran was attempting to demonstrate credibility and seriousness in ongoing interactions. According to his account, the initial expectation involved 8 large oil tankers, but the final number reached 10, and he indicated that these vessels were flagged under Pakistan. The administration did not immediately provide further operational or logistical details regarding the vessels, leaving analysts to interpret the significance based on limited confirmed information. To understand why this matters, it is necessary to examine the role of the Strait of Hormuz in global energy markets. The strait is a narrow maritime corridor connecting the Persian Gulf to the Arabian Sea, and it serves as the primary export route for major oil-producing countries including Saudi Arabia, Iraq, the United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, and Iran itself. On average, between 17 and 20 million barrels of oil pass through this corridor each day. Any disruption, whether partial or complete, has immediate implications for global oil prices, shipping insurance rates, and supply chain stability. Over the past several years, tensions involving Iran, the United States, and regional actors have repeatedly raised concerns about the security of this route. The current situation builds on a longer history of confrontation and negotiation. Since the United States withdrew from the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action in 2018, tensions over Iran's nuclear program have remained unresolved. Sanctions targeting Iran's energy exports have constrained its economy, while Iran has responded at various points by signaling its ability to influence maritime traffic in the Strait of Hormuz. These signals have included both direct actions, such as the detention of vessels, and indirect pressure through regional proxies. The presence of U.S. naval forces in the region has acted as both a deterrent and a source of friction, creating a persistent state of strategic ambiguity. Trump's recent comments came in the context of renewed efforts to push Iran toward an agreement that would both secure maritime passage and address concerns about its nuclear activities. Earlier in the week, he had referenced what he described as a significant energy-related concession from Iran, though he did not initially clarify the nature of that concession. The later explanation connected that earlier statement to the reported tanker movements, suggesting that the passage of these vessels was intended to demonstrate goodwill, or at least tactical flexibility. However, without independent verification or detailed disclosure, the precise mechanism behind this development remains unclear. The involvement of Pakistan-flagged vessels adds another layer of complexity. While the flag of a vessel does not necessarily indicate ownership or cargo destination, it can reflect regulatory and diplomatic considerations. Pakistan maintains relationships with both the United States and Iran, and the use of its flag could be interpreted as an attempt to reduce the risk of escalation while allowing limited economic activity to continue. This detail, though not fully explained, points to the broader network of states that can become indirectly involved in high-stakes geopolitical situations. If this situation were to escalate, one possible outcome involves a tightening of control over the Strait of Hormuz, either through direct action by Iran or through increased military presence by the United States and its allies. In such a scenario, even a temporary disruption could remove several million barrels per day from the global market, leading to rapid price increases and potential economic ripple effects across energy-importing countries. Insurance premiums for tankers could rise sharply, and alternative routes, such as pipelines bypassing the strait, would face capacity constraints. This would not only affect energy markets, but also broader trade flows, given the interconnected nature of global shipping. If the situation instead stabilizes and leads to a negotiated outcome, the implications would be different, but still significant. A sustained agreement ensuring safe passage through the strait could reduce volatility in oil markets and create space for more structured negotiations over Iran's nuclear program. This could involve phased sanctions relief in exchange for verifiable limits on nuclear activities, though such arrangements have historically been difficult to implement and sustain. In this scenario, the reported tanker passage would be seen not as an isolated event, but as an early indicator of a shift toward managed de-escalation. There is also a middle path where limited gestures continue without leading to a comprehensive agreement. In that case, actions like allowing a small number of tankers to pass would function as tactical signals rather than strategic changes. This would maintain a level of uncertainty that keeps pressure on all sides while avoiding direct confrontation. Markets would likely remain sensitive to each new development, and policymakers would continue to operate within a narrow margin for error. The broader geopolitical consequences extend beyond the immediate region. Energy importing economies in Asia and Europe are directly affected by any changes in supply routes, while major producers must adjust output and pricing strategies in response to perceived risks. The United States, while less dependent on Middle Eastern oil than in previous decades, remains deeply invested in maintaining the stability of global energy markets and the security of maritime trade routes. Iran, for its part, continues to balance economic pressures from sanctions with its strategic objective of maintaining influence in the region. The key question to watch is not just whether similar actions continue, but whether they are accompanied by verifiable changes in policy, enforcement, and communication between the involved parties. Stability in this context is not a fixed state, but a negotiated balance, and conflict is not always defined by open confrontation. The line between the two can shift quickly, and understanding that dynamic is essential for interpreting what happens next.